là, vous êtes certainement en train de démarrer la première vidéo de The Beginner's Guide. Et s'il vous plaît, ne la regardez pas. Je sais que ça peut paraître bizarre maintenant. Là, si vous êtes au dernier épisode, ça vous fait chier, mais bon, ça vous rappellera le début de la vidéo, donc c'est pas mal. Mais s'il vous plaît, si vous voulez vivre une expérience qui est vraiment différente et émouvante, et que vous êtes prêt à débourser un peu d'argent, achetez ce jeu et jouez-y. Ne me regardez pas jouer, vous y trouverez moins. Mais si vous tenez vraiment à ne pas dépenser d'argent pour ce jeu, ou si vous êtes curieux, allez-y, d'accord. Mais franchement, je vous encourage vraiment à y jouer, parce que vous obtiendrez pas la même sensation si vous l'avez vu une fois, en fait. Donc allez-y. Achetez-le et c'est vraiment pas pour l'argent, quoi. C'est pas pour donner de l'argent aux créateurs, je m'en fous. C'est parce que jouez-y, en fait. Peu importe si vous l'achetez ou pas, même si je pense pas que vous pourrez le trouver un truc. Jouez-y, vraiment. C'est une expérience... Bref, voilà, je vous laisse. Et bon, retour pour nous, je sais ça. Bonjour à tous et à toutes, ici Overdoseur, votre humble serviteur, qui vous retrouve pour une vidéo un peu spéciale. Et oui, en effet, hier est sorti The Beginner's Guide, un jeu fait par le créateur de The Stanley Parable. The Stanley Parable qui, tout comme The Beginner's Guide, est un jeu indépendant et surtout très très spécial. C'est un jeu narratif et c'est un jeu qui m'a vraiment beaucoup plu. Là, je me suis pas du tout renseigné sur le Beginner's Guide, à part la petite vidéo qu'il y a eu quand j'ai acheté le jeu Steam. Mais sinon, à part ça, je sais que ça va être un jeu narratif, encore une fois, un peu à la Stanley Parable, mais apparemment, selon les critiques, faut pas non plus s'attendre à pareil. Et la critique semble être unanime. Le jeu est génial, donc moi, je leur fais confiance et surtout... Plus qu'aux gens, je fais confiance au créateur qui est franchement très intelligent et qui fait... Enfin, son jeu est vraiment... Il y a de l'humour, c'est intelligent et puis c'est surtout... c'est différent. Donc là, franchement, je m'attends vraiment à une expérience différente. Je sais pas dans quoi je vais me lancer. C'est d'ailleurs pour ça que j'ai lancé le record. Ça se trouve, ça va pas du tout être intéressant à regarder ou du moins moi, je vais pas réussir à le rendre intéressant. Mais je sais que c'est le genre de jeu où je n'arriverai pas à rendre la même impression si j'y ai déjà joué une fois. Donc c'est pour ça que vous allez m'accompagner dans cette aventure. Et on va commencer tout de suite. Oui, le son est activé. WSD. Ok. Il n'y a rien qui change avec ça.
Hi there. Thank you very much for playing The Beginner's Guide. My name is Davey Reedon. I wrote The Stanley Parable, and while that game tells a pretty absurd story, today I'm going to tell you about a series of events that happened between 2008 and 2011. We're going to look at the games made by a friend of mine named Coda. Now these games mean a lot to me. I met Coda in early 2009 at a time when I was really struggling with some personal stuff, and his work pointed me in a very powerful direction. I found it to be a good reference point for the kinds of creative works that I wanted to make. So just to start you off, this is, I think, the first game he ever made. It's a level for Counter-Strike. You can walk around here, by the way. And mostly it's just Coda learning the basics of building a 3D environment. But what I like is that even though he starts from the simple aesthetic of a desert town, he then scatters these colorful abstract blobs and impossible floating crates around the level. And of course, it destroys the illusion that this actually is a desert town.
Attendez, juste, il y a un problème de touche, clavier, souris, attribution des touches, tac, tac. Parce que ça me... touche... Non... Ça c'est bon, ouais désolé hein, mais j'y avais pas pensé. Je pensais pas que le jeu serait raciste à ce point. Regardez tout, oui ça a l'air bon. Interagir avec eux. Ça m'a l'air bon. On reprend.
And instead this level becomes a kind of calling card from its creator. It's like a reminder that this video game was constructed by a real person. And it kind of makes you wonder.
Oh,
what was going through his head?
Mon dieu, désolé, que je sais pas pourquoi ça fait ça. Gauche. Voilà, appliqué.
Head as he was building this. This is what I like about all of Coda's games. I mean, not that they're all fascinating as games, but that they are all going to give us access to their creator. I want us to see past the games themselves. I want to get to know who this human being really is. And that's exactly what we're going to do here. So, it's 2008, Coda starts making these games, and he never releases any of them. He doesn't put them onto the internet, he just makes them and then immediately abandons them and they sit on his computer forever. And I think he really understood this image of himself as a recluse. At one point he jokingly renamed his computer's recycling bin to Important Games Folder. So, you know, this was just how he worked. He tended to crank them out one after the other without even really pausing to try to understand what he had just made, until suddenly one day, he just stopped. In 2011, that was it. He made his last game and then he hasn't made another one since. And that's why I've taken this opportunity to gather all of his work together, is because I find his games powerful and interesting, and I'd like this collection to reach him, to maybe encourage him to start creating again. And if the people like you who play this also happen to find his work interesting, then I'm sure it'll just send that much stronger of a message of encouragement to Coda. So thanks for joining me on this. If you have a particular interpretation that I haven't mentioned here, or if you just need to get in touch, you can email me at dadeywreden@gmail.com. Okay, that's about it for introduction. Let's take a look at Coda's first proper game. As each game is loading, I'll show you the date that it was completed. This first one was made in November 2008.
Non. Ça me fait penser au début de ma RE. Attention, machine à murmure. Ah bah, tu sais que... je dis ça me fait penser au jeu de au début de ma RE et machine à murmure, quoi, le mange-lumière, on a... Ok. Est-ce qu'on peut tirer? Ok, c'est par là.
This game is called Escape from Whisper, and it's one of the more generic games you'll see from Coda.
Ah, pourquoi? Ah, parce que le mouse 1, tu sais que je suis désolé, mais... Allez, vas-y, je suis désolé. Oui, Attends, regardez en haut. Bah oui, ça doit être le premier mouse 1. Voilà. Ouais, parce que... Voilà. Ok. Ok. On peut pas se coucher, apparemment.
Security call breached. Hostile alien life form inbound.
Ah, j'ai plus de munitions!
It kinda looks like this game was abandoned mid-development.
Oui, en effet, oui.
For instance, you have this gun, which you'd think would indicate that there are supposed to be monsters or enemies somewhere, but then clearly there are no enemies anywhere. You can't even reload the gun when you run out of bullets.
En effet.
But ultimately we don't really know. Maybe Coda thought that actually it was complete the way that it is. And I think that we should talk about his games for what they are, rather than for what they're not.
Ah!
Enemy force neutralized.
I love how you can see the bottom of the universe from this room.
Ouais. C'est un labyrinthe.
Apparently this space station has a labyrinth on it. Sure, I don't know. There's really no reason for it that I've ever been able to discern, so in the interest of time, I'm just gonna skip you on past it.
Attends, mais je vais y retourner, moi.
Or, if you'd really like to solve the labyrinth, you're welcome to do that too.
Non, 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 c'est bon, c'est bon. C'est énorme.
Okay, this is the part that's interesting. The game has this narrative about the whisper machine and how it has to be turned off, and then you get to the engine room.
Hey, you there, in the engine room. You could save us all. That beam is powering the whisper machine. We could disrupt it by introducing a great enough heat signature.
En gros, on va se sacrifier.
Your body could stop the beam. It's so much to ask, but for all of our lives, would you do it? Could you give yourself?
let me pause here for a second. What you just experienced, stepping into the beam and then dying, is probably what Coda had initially intended when he was developing this level. But when he first compiles and plays it, something goes wrong. There's a bug somewhere. And this is what happens instead.
Mais c'est tellement cool cette façon. Je m'attendais à un génératif, mais pas aussi personnel en fait. C'est. Je continue. What? Ah, énorme, on voit le labyrinthe au-dessus. On va pouvoir cheater. C'est joli.
The beam causes you to start floating. And this is an important moment for him. Because yes, this is technically a glitch, but Coda identifies something human about it. Like how small it makes you feel in the face of this larger chaotic system. Or this floating could be the afterlife, a peaceful place, juxtaposed against all of the hysteria that you've just had to traverse. I don't even know. I have no idea what he was thinking, but what's clear is that after making this, something lodges itself in his brain. He wants to do more of these really weird and experimental designs. So he stops work on this and moves on to a stream of tiny little games that go in all sorts of directions. Let's go ahead and take a look at the first game he made after leaving this one behind.
Oh là, ça me fait penser au fond des... Enfin, au truc de chargement Windows là, les vieux trucs avec les smileys là. Ok.
Yep, in this game you can only walk backwards.
D'accord. Le passé était derrière elle. Ah. Avec le petit piano à l'envers là. Intéressant. Wow.
So it's a short and relatively minimalist experiment combining motion and narrative. It is less advanced than the previous game, but actually it seems to be more focused, more complete. Coda's trying to give it a unique voice rather than simply basing it on a pre-existing trope.
Trope? Je sais pas ce que c'est trope. Change-t-il constamment? Ah, énorme! C'est vrai, ça y était pas ça tout à l'heure. Ah, c'est une bonne idée, hein. Et là, poup! Non? Ok. Quand elle s'arrête et observe, tout devient plus clair. Ouais, déjà, il aime beaucoup les femmes, hein. Coda. Mais le futur est toujours derrière elle. Oh, putain. Comment trouvera-t-elle la force? Oh, de l'affronter.
It's a short little thought, it says what it wants to say, and then it ends. Didn't need anything more than that. Which to me is why it works, because it gets out quick. Okay, next one.
Il faisait plein de jeux. Oula, ça sent pas le jeu d'horreur ça. Je vais baisser un peu mon casque. Ok. Bon, ça a l'air très limite. Vous allez entrer. Vous allez entrer.
And that's it. Okay, the meaning of this game won't be clear just yet. Please be patient with me for a few more games and I promise you'll see what makes it interesting.
What the fuck? Ouais, c'est vraiment le début du...
Oftentimes, Coda would put bizarre titles like this one at the start of his games.
Énorme.
I wish I'd known him at the time that he was making these early games. He would really only talk to me about his work as he was making it. Once he stopped work on a game, like, that was it. It was dead to him. And I don't agree with that at all, but what are you gonna do?
What are you gonna do? Oh, slow.
Once you've been slowed to an absolute crawl, the door at the top of the stairs opens. So why, if Coda's not showing these games to anyone, why bother opening the door at all? Well, to show you, I'm modifying the game here so that when you press enter, it'll bring you back up to full speed so you can enter the door for yourself.
Ah, ouais, bon, j'allais pas attendre non plus. Je fais une vidéo, mais je pense que si je rejoue au jeu, j'essaierai de monter en tout lent. Attends. Restez sur une X en observant un ours pendant 3 heures. Vous dirigez dans votre propre corps. Vous vendez des organes. Vous incarnez un son
A
plus
room that's warm and nice and filled with little ideas for games.
Le capitaine a toujours tort. Énorme.
Coda would often tell me that he didn't mind if people thought of him as cold or distant. He said that he knew that he was actually a vibrant and compassionate person, but that it takes time to really see that. It can be a very slow climb to get there.
Un jeu uniquement fait de posters et d'images qui montrent à quoi doit ressembler le jeu. C'est tellement... Vos marques prêt pêcher. Ready, steady, fish. Oula, ça, il a pris le même... Ouais, un peu comme dans le premier... Ouais, le premier, je crois, ouais, c'est ça. Le Maéré like. Y a pas de pêche. What the fuck. Oh, une jolie pêche.
Well, this is new for Coda. It's an actual puzzle.
Ah, c'est pas
Go
le
ahead
moment.
and see if you can solve it.
C'est vraiment pas le moment de m'envoyer des messages sur Skype. Dégagez les gens. Ouh. Petit brouillard là. C'est tout. On a une torche. Peut-être qu'il faut le... Non. Hop, et là, hop. Aha!
Don't forget that solution, because we're going to see this puzzle again soon. We're gonna see it a lot.
3.
So that seems to be it, right? You walk down a corridor, you solve a puzzle, you get to the end. Simple enough. Alright, now I'm going to modify the game again, so that when you press enter, it'll remove all of the walls from this room.
What? 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 Je vais devoir terminer cet épisode ici, mais on se retrouve très vite pour un autre épisode. Et si vous voulez, vous pouvez toujours vous abonner ou cliquer sur like. Allez, ciao tout le monde!